Good morning, Doc. Our title for our research is Unveil Moral Lessons and Nurturing Empathy, the Impact of Aesop's The Lion and the Mouse on Children's Literature and Moral Development. Um, our study aims to uncover the moral lessons embedded within the story and understand how it cultivates empathy in young readers. Mm, wait lang.
Is there a possibility for you to make this Microsoft Word bigger, like zoom?
Mart
Okay,
Martleco.
uh, make it full screen. It's too small.
So chapter one, rationale. So a brief introduction to our topic. Can you scroll down, please? Hello, Mark. So the rationale. By digging into the lesson embedded in this fable, we can gain insight to the importance of empathy, interactiveness, and the the consequence the consequences of our action. It serves as a timeless reminder. The acts of compassion, regardless the size, can shape our relationship, promote unexpected friendship, and contribute to more harmonious and understanding world. Moreover, the fable highlights the connection of all beings. It emphasizes that every creature, regardless of the size, has a role to play in the large ecosystem. This story teaches us.
Clear. Let me just interrupt because again you started it wrong. Hopefully you learned from what I said on irrationality. You do not give us very much a lot about the story. You already unlocked many things. Irrationality tells us first what is like the necessity of the study for people to open their minds that this is interesting. Do not already prompt us, spoon feed us with all the information, at least a big chunk of information about the story you already are analyzing here, has been told down through our generation. The story tells a powerful lion. That's not how you make a rationale, my dear. Rationale must be, I said already to group number two and number four, it's like opening a can without a label. So you want us to understand. Can you tell me what is the okay moral of your story? It's about the lion. What is it about? Humility. What is this story all about? What do you want to focus on this story?
More about the empathy, Doc.
empathy, like you want to put your foot on the shoe of another person to understand their
Yeah.
feelings, their emotions, their problems, and so you better understand and you are sensitive. Is it right?
Yes, Doc.
Yes.
Perhaps you can start it like this, okay? And you don't have to copy in toto. Um, the modern world has already attracted a lot of complex ideas regarding how human beings should interact with one another, the value of humanity, and welfare for the people has eventually degraded and it submerged itself perhaps into oblivion. Many people forget that they are working or they are living with other people, not only for themselves. As a human being, people are social animals, social creatures who cannot stand by their own. There is a saying, and quoted from, no man is an island. For example, quoted from Panugaling 2026, 2022, 2021. But again, page number. So quoted from Panugaling, page 24 instead of the year. My bad. No man is an island. The Filipinos, the same as most of the people in the world, has this very good culture of pakikisama and close family ties. This group of people are way intimate in their relationship with all the others, such as the common concept of um, what is the thing barangayan movement when the ancestors would carry a house to transfer to another um, in order for them to express their concern or their care for the people around them. As a society in a whole, um, can you notice what I said about the general um, nature of human beings, and then I suddenly related it to the Filipinos? I did not make mention of the lion and the mouse yet. As I said to you, discuss to us how necessary the work is, and then discuss to us the beneficiality. So when people started to understand pakikisama or the barangayan movement, um, that's how you try to open the topic so that we can go with your idea on empathy at the very last. So you talk first about those good qualities which the Filipinos or people in the world can relate about empathy, but do not make any analysis yet of your story, the lion, something. So again, with all those talks, you can say reports coming from CNN or maybe reports coming from TV Patrol. Okay, uh, during the COVID rise of COVID-19 pandemic, the national government and the local government had taken charge of giving or sending out help for those people who are needy and those people who are weak. Apart from that, many other social groups have also expressed their help and love through what? Through giving humanitarian welfare or help or aid, such as canned goods, noodles, for all the others who can or who are in need of their help. According to the sociologist named Manuel Maturan, page 22, as a nation, in times of the pandemic, we cannot be any selfish. We have to show love to people because this love will get back to us. This notion of love and concern for people is also manifested in the Bible. On the scriptures of John, verse 3, chapter 4, verse 3, like that. And then you make mention for love your neighbor as you love yourself, for example. This indicates that as a society, the norms must be you are very welcoming to others as a sign of belongingness and a sign of prosperity, that all good hopes and wishes would eventually be given back to you and will make a society flourish and thrive because of this concept of unity. And then your last paragraph is these and all are the concepts that will be explored in the story featured in this research, in this literary critical analysis entitled, and then the title of your something like The Lion. Okay, this is the very epitome of the study, or this is the very foundation on how people or the readers would find an interest in their perspective about life. See, I discuss only about people, about the knowledge on sensitivity, about the knowledge of unity, about the knowledge of empathy, and then at the last paragraph, I open the idea that this story will be mentioning or will be tackling much about that concept. So if you're listening to my narration a while ago, I did not tell you what happened to the lion. Do not again have a premature analysis. You are still giving us the importance of your study. Are you listening, Group One?
No.
Why do I have to mention your featured uh text here are all already about analysis. This tale explores themes of kindness. Do not tell this because you will use this in your research, results, and discussion. Oh, by examining this story, we can gain insights. This is already analysis. If I
Okay,
tell you about prostitution as the topic, and I want that to be the focus, for example, my talk is about Catherine Lim's The Taximan Story. There are three major issues about poverty, about prostitution, and lack of education. So how do I open that, for example? Okay, so say here, how do you open that one? Prostitution is the oldest profession. According to the Bible, see, and then I mentioned a script in the Bible. When Jesus helped Mary Magdalene was already um, not enthralled, but already overshadowed by the concept of um, what guilt because of her previous profession. When God adopted her as part of the flock of good shepherd or the disciples, then she changed into uh, turned into a new leaf. And period. Then you can say humanity nowadays have already the yeah depreciated in terms of moral values. Many people have done a great evil, and yet they do not recognize that they are doing a bad thing to be so. Um, in one of the works entitled in one of the works of um, Lagumi, page 22 to 28, what social values and ethical principles among human beings. She quoted that human values and social um, principles have already plunged themselves into the lowest because of ambition. Now, I'm not talking there about the story. I'm talking about the concept of prostitution. I'm talking about the concept of degradation of moral values. And if I happen to conclude that in my rationale later, I would say these and all concepts of prostitution, poverty, and lack of education are the very focus of the story entitled This Is, for example, the story is The Taxi Story by Catherine Lim. This is what this research or academic technical paper is going to discover. See, I only mentioned that at the last, um, as to how you discover those concepts, then you will discuss it in the results and discussion. Do not give us. Firstly, the story of the lion and the mouse emphasizes the importance of empathy. Oh, very, very immature, premature analysis, which you did not learn again. Group number one, group number two, and group number four. I emphasize these things. Do not give us any analysis yet. Change this, please. Focus on the necessity of your study, why people can benefit, and how people could relate social relevance, and how timely is the issue. And at your last paragraph of your rationale will bring about the importance now of your study, why those values that you mentioned above are important because those are the focus of the study featured. Oh, Jesus. Theoretical background now. See, already all of these are copied. By analyzing the story's emotional expressions and subjective attitudes, this is just a copy. And by the way, right, please do not have it left margin aligned. It has to be justified. So it's border per border, edge by edge. Look at your alignment. This is not justified. It doesn't look beautiful. Justify this. This is correct with an intention before you put the this theoretical background. You justify. Look at the last part, fable, the lion. It's not at the edge of your border. And then three is not aligned with understanding the lion, the, and themes. That's why justify those. Oh my God. Your panelists might tell you revoke the study. Already, this was underdeveloped study because all of these are copied. This paper examines how the story's emotional elements and moral themes improve children's ability to reason ethically. These are not the words from you because if these are your words, you would not have mentioned this in the theoretical background. Theoretical background only tells us um, the 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 theories used in this study are to be utilized in order to understand better or comprehensively what the academic paper is all about. That's how you do a kind of a theoretical background. Provide us why the theories are important. That's how you make a theoretical background. You don't mention the the story about the Aesop's fable, the lion and the mouse. Of course you can though, but do not already analyze it because this is already a premature analysis. That's what I said to you. Go on, mimesis. Remember this mimesis that you have, because this will be the first theory I would expect that you would use.
Uh, Mark, kindly go back to Mimesis. This mimesis delves into the profound impact of Aesop's timeless fable, The Lion and the Mouse, on children's literature and moral development. By exploring the moral lessons embedded within the story and the cultivation of empathy among young readers, this study sheds light on the enduring relevance of Aesop's narrative in shaping the ethical compass of future generations. So,
Please remove all of those, my dear. You just have to define mimesis. That's what I said. In your
yes, Doc.
theoretical background, define mimesis, and then tell us any author that talk about mimesis, any authors, and then give your support. Like explain what the author is telling us about mimesis. Like mimesis is a copy of reality.
Oh,
One can find the meaning if one understands what the perspective of the source is. Say, for example, if the allusion talks about uh, um what Plato and the Platonic, this relates to the Greek philosopher Plato, who happens to undergo a kind of a true non-sensual or sexual love during his time, like that. And then
okay.
you have to tell us about what is the meaning of mimesis, and then explain to us what these authors who talk about mimesis are giving their thoughts about. Like, what is the thought of this author? Ah, okay, so mimesis for him is not only a copy of reality, it's a copy of anything that may be of truth in its most sensible um, definition. And then uh, you can explain according to, and then who said so, or which source are you using, and then explain again. Or maybe you can first give us your perspective about mimesis, and then support it with some author's claim who wrote about mimesis. You already have a lot of Lion and the Mouse, Lion and the Mouse. As much as possible, we don't want to mention those, because again, you are leading the reader to opening their ideas about what they will discover about the story. So if you keep on mentioning the Lion and the Mouse, you are already giving a lot of analysis there, which happens to be wrong, because a theoretical background, it's a background. It tells us a framework on how you will attack the study, not what theories are you going to use in order to attack your analysis. So that's why in the mimetic theory, this will be used to what? um, to determine the figurative language, or to determine the archetypes in the story, or to determine the symbolisms, or to determine imageries used, because those are copies of reality. So that's what you are supposed to discuss in the mimesis. And then the next one is go on. Be careful with your mimesis. That's number one.
Okay, Doc. Thank you, Doc.
Number two,
Excuse me, Doc. Excuse me, Doc.
mm,
Under Nemesis, Doc, should we put uh several authors or only one, Doc?
It's up to you for as long as you quote them or cite them properly with the page
Okay, Doc.
number. And that citation, we call it in-text citation, IN, and then hyphen, and then text, TEXT, citation, CITATION. We call it in-text citation because it is you cited who wrote or who is the source only with the page number MLA style. But at the very last part, again, it's bibliography. That is where you put now the citation of the book owner, like the last, as I said, Panugaling, Mark C. And then the title of the book, like literature in the modern world. And then where was it published? Or the Nisa Printing House. And then who is the publisher's name? Printing Press is a publisher's name. MCP Shakespearean Publishing. And then the printing house is Ordeneza Printing House Ltd. And then Cebu City. And then the year of publication. You can see this sample in your research, the ones that I sent to you. That is your. I have to see if you put their example. Alona, page 22. It should also appear in your um. How do you call this one? Bibliographical entry. Alona. That's how you do uh kind of bibliographical entry.
Please next, Mark. Mark Leto.
Go on. What is the next theory that you are using?
Expressivism, Doc.
So
Then
discuss
the
to
other
us
is
about the life story of the author, about anything that is related that you will use later. Like in your study, if you want to study about the what? The mental state of the author. So you will study there, you will put in your expressivism. Expressivism focuses on a theory that analyzes the author's psychology, which is manifested or reflected in the literary work, thereby mentioning the ideas of the author or the kind of a logic or philosophy the author holds. And then you mention according to and who said about the concept of expressivism, and then support, like if that person mentions it talks about the family background of the author, because that is also what you will discuss in your table later about the family background. So discuss that, but do not make mention yet of the lion and the mouse. Just mention to us about expressivism, about the theory, define the theory or describe the theory based on the definition from authors that you will cite, then describe what they talk about, what they are saying about expressivism. Continue, please, slower.
okay.
As I said to you, every theory must be one paragraph minimum, not not too small, not too few, not too little inscription. Affective. Affective is reader's response. In the field of natural language processing, known as affective analysis, often referred to as emotion analysis or sentiment analysis of the author. Okay, in order to evaluate the, okay, these are copied though again, but you have to cite where did you get this because it's copy pasted. In order to obtain, even now I can sense because it's already starting to red. Let me show you how it becomes red. My turn it in gives me the idea this is copied and you did not cite the author. It has all red on my computer. See? In order to obtain insight, people's thoughts, attitudes, and affective analysis seeks to extract and evaluate emotion and sentiments portrayed in textual data. It makes it possible for enormous, and there is no citation, there is no author that you cited, and you did not give any support to your claim. Like, in order to obtain insight, what is your thesis argument about this paragraph? As I said to you, the easiest way is from your definition copied from another author, then you try to elaborate or explain what is that all about. And then after another paragraph, then elaborate what is this paragraph all about. So that's how you do it. Go on. Effective. So we are putting everybody on the record for group number one that your first theory is mimesis, second is expressive, third is effective. We'll see if it transpires or they transpire in your statement of the problem. Sub-problem, go down. Move down faster, please. Scroll down, group one.
Mark Leco.
Because if this is what you will do, sorry, tomorrow will not be your defense. It will be on Wednesday. Because I can sense that not all of you are ready. Not any of you is ready. Can you go back to your upper part? The main problem. How you read.
Statement of the problem. This literary critical analysis aims to unveil moral lessons and nurturing empathy, the impact of Aesop's The Lion and the Mouse on children's literature and moral development.
Period. Thank you. This is your title, but you can put there, this literary critical analysis aims to unveil. Put the unveil lower, small case, lowercase. However, in your title, it's not unveil moral lessons. It must be in a gerund form. So unveiling above your title above. Okay, not here. But this is right.
Okay,
It's
Doc.
acceptable. But to unveil, use small letter for unveil.
Okay,
And
Doc.
nurture empathy instead of nurturing empathy. And then put small letters for unveil, moral, lessons, and nurturing empathy. All of them are in small letters.
Okay, Doc.
However, in your title, I put everybody again emphasizing in your title, this is correct, but you have to change this into unveiling moral lessons and nurturing empathy. But in your statement of the problem, since it's part of an infinitive, it has to be to unveil moral lessons and nurture empathy because this is a faulty parallelism. The first one is infinitive, the second one is a gerund. How do you make it both correct and according to the principles of parallelism? To unveil moral lessons and nurture only instead of nurturing. You get that?
Okay, yes, Doc.
Again, in your title, it's already correct to say unveiling moral lessons and nurturing empathy. That's correct in your title. But here in the statement of the problem, make them infinitive. Change it so you will not forget. And then period. Let's go down. Specifically, it focuses on the following aspects of critical analysis. Analysis, my dear. Um, it is SES, because this is plural. Your analysis means that one paper for sub-problem number one, sub-problem number two, and sub-problem number three. You got four, but your theory is only three. Number one, the core moral values conveyed in the story. I do not think this is core moral lessons. Okay, well, see moral lessons. What's your moral lesson? Number one, what you have mentioned above. Although you have to change those above and put them in the results and discussion. What you put in your rationale, in your theoretical background. If you mentioned about the lion and the mouse, then instead copy those, paste those in the results and discussion later. What's your first sub problem? How do you plan to attack this? Because I said there must be three subcategories. There must be three subcategories.
Again, Doc, what was your question, Doc?
Number one, how do you plan to attack your study for a table? The core moral lessons. What are three? I said you have to make mention of three. In your first analysis, one academic paper, it has to be table one. And that table one must be mimesis because that's what you put earlier. You said mimesis is your theory. So number one must talk about mimesis, a copy of social reality. So that is after the mimetic analysis, table one, mimetic analysis, and then the first row is the title, core moral lessons. And below the core moral lessons, can I write? Can you allow me to write on this whiteboard? I cannot write. Our host, can you please let me write?
Okay, Doc, wait lang. Can you write na, Doc? Ay,
There is none.
wait.
I cannot.
Here, Doc. Ay, the second one, Doc.
Ask owner to share.
3 minutes left na lang, Doc.
Uh-huh. Then we'll get in later with another link or if you want the same link. Um, I cannot still until now.
How can I share the whiteboard, Doc? I'll send the
Options. Open a
options,
jam.
open a jam,
Start anew.
start on.
Perhaps everybody move out of this first and just presenters remove and then let me share my screen later. See you in another link now.
Okay,
Please
Doc.
move out.